almost the same patterns of retirement once you're retirement eligible, but very different patterns of behavior after you retire. People are just simply too young, too healthy. They have too many kind of needs that are financial needs, and they want to keep working. They find value in what they've done. Employers are also finding great value in this. You're seeing a number of people who are leaving long-term corporate jobs, who go back taking philanthropic jobs. They're taking jobs whose primary characteristic is they're giving back either to the corporation or to the government. And that is probably the fastest growing segment that we're seeing in the non-traditional first retired workforce. For the last 32 years, the largest unemployment rate for people with a college degree is 2.6%. That's very consistent with this notion that if you want to work and you've been through college and you graduated, you can work. There's this huge war for talent going on in the United States between the public and the private sector. And what's happening more and more is that people who are either retired or for some reason don't want to be in the traditional workforce, there's still this great demand for their time and their talents to be applied to the functions that are required. They require people. And in the past, I think there's always been two pretty straightforward models. You could join a company that puts you up as part of their labor pool and bids your work out, and largely you give up some control on where you're going to work, and you've predefined some kind of arrangement on how many hours you want to work. And the second option that's been around historically is to be this independent consultant. And an independent consultant model is a fine model, but there's tremendous costs, and many of them hidden costs, about finding work, about maintaining your own insurance and your own liability, convincing firms of your own experiences being consistent with their needs, sometimes collecting money. You know, you go to work for people and they promise to pay, but they don't always come through. And so there's some risks involved in that second model, that independent consultant model, that you can, in the past, buy your way out of by being part of a corporate group that comes into it. There's also an opportunity, I think, though, in the middle for people who see the risks of being an independent, purely independent consultant and don't maybe like this instability that comes with that. But they also don't want to give up the total control of where they work and what they do by going to work at a large placement company. And I think that MBO Partners offers that middle ground for people who still want some stability, who still want some work, but don't want to live in that world of risk and liability. We've talked a little bit about the incentives from the individual's perspective, which is, in the past, there's kind of been two options for them: the independent consultant option and the risks and the instability with that, and the go with a large corporation where you have less control and maybe other characteristics that say, hey, I've been in the government a long time, I don't want to go to work for another large collective group of people that sells my talent. This middle path, represented by joining and working with MBO Partners, is a new path. It's different, and all the pressures from the market and from the individual suggest that it's going to be a very productive pursuit.